It's Sunday, September 7th, and the weather just changed a lot. And the first thing to change has been our tropical outlook. This invest out here only a couple days ago was expected to become Tropical Storm Gabrielle. It had a 90% chance of formation. Now it has gone all the way down to officially a 0% chance of formation as of today. So we are not going to see this invest turn into Tropical Storm Gabrielle. We're definitely going to have to wait potentially another week or two until we see another storm take that title. But as for now, this threat of seeing Tropical Storm Gabrielle form just east of the Lesser Antilles in the main development region is over. And then in the context of seeing severe weather, that's also going to change a lot too. For the past couple of days, we've seen a pretty active severe weather pattern stretching all the way from the northern plains all the way through to the eastern seaboard, brought by a seasonally really big trough digging in. Now that that has moved off, we're going to see a bit of a lull or calm and not really any severe weather for the next couple of days. And it's just going to be a general threat of some thunderstorms. The main hot spots to watch, I think, are going to be out here in the upper plains convergence zone, and then also out here in this little sliver from parts of northern Florida to southern Georgia. And also because that big seasonally large trough has just pushed its way all the way through, that also means we're going to see some cooler temperatures being brought as well, even quite a bit more south than we haven't seen the past couple of days, reaching all the way down to parts of northern Florida and even covering most of Texas. So these cool temperatures are going to be at the highest or the most intense up north, of course, mainly Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And then even parts of the Northeast, you're going to be seeing some mid 60s, feels like temperatures today. And for the rest of the country, it's going to be a lot the mid 70s to low 80s, feels like temperatures. But for the hotter parts of the country, that's going to be the Southeast and Gulf Coast, likely seeing some mid 90s, feels like temperatures today before it cools down in the afternoon, and then you'll likely see some low 90s to high 80s feels like temperatures. And then our flash flood risk map is actually pointing a pretty good picture across the US today. We only have a couple of areas with that elevated risk of seeing some flash flooded, although it's only marginal risk, so that conditional threat 1 to 2 inches of rain for all these areas. And those areas are going to be in South Texas, the southeastern coast of the US, and also the coastal region stretching from Cape Cod all the way up to the US-Canada border in Maine. And here's what the radar is going to look like in the upper plains convergence zone, specifically in parts of eastern Colorado and eastern New Mexico. This is one of the areas which I think has an elevated chance of potentially seeing a couple of severe storms today, although that risk for overall severe weather is still going to be pretty low, and it's just more of a general thunderstorm risk. But here we go, around a little after mid-afternoon, we're going to start seeing some storms pop off around this region, and it looks like our strongest batch of storms would come along when the low-level jet kicks in the evening hours, and then right after that, those storms would die off pretty quickly, and then that threat for severe weather and general thunderstorms alike would also end just after that as well. Now, what's bringing this would be the likelihood of seeing a bit of a low pressure system form out here, and then just a lot of westerly flow from that trough, potentially a bit of a kink or a short wave pushing through as well, and then just the upper plains convergence zone geography really hoping to intensify this storm. And then in North Florida and South Georgia, it's going to be a little different things causing this storm to pop up in the early to mid-afternoon hours, really lasting all the way until nightfall would be this risk of thunderstorms in this region, likely even being some of those stronger ones in the country that we see today. But it's going to be a cold front, likely the development of a low pressure system as well. And this is just one of the more unstable air masses in the country. That's why I do think we could see some stronger storms in this region. And then this is the really big trough that I've been talking about. It's really going to be that main cause of seeing most of the weather today, and also being one of the main causes for really the lack of weather today. But we can see that this big trough has really overspreaded most of the eastern US, even including the Great Plains, and this has brought multiple rounds of strong storms, really leading to a spent atmosphere. There's really not much storm fuel left out here for much storms to even occur. That's why our risk is really small today and is only for some strong thunderstorms potentially. Now, one of the main areas which I talked about, which was the Upper Plains converted zone, could potentially see a bit of a shortwave or ripple in our jet stream moving through. This could bring some forcing and also some better storm ingredients for those storms out here. This would likely to start ejecting by right around when that low level jet kicks in. So that's really perfect timing for those storms and why the HRRR and I think that around the low level jet would be the peak of those storms. And then there's just general westerly flow across other parts of the country, specifically that Florida, Georgia risk area. And then also there is some more explanation on why that general thunderstorm threat extends all the way up here into the Rockies. We see a couple more ripples in our jet stream as well, and then just a lot of westerly flow.